In the flickering glow of a distant fire, a small band of early humans crouched beneath an overhang of rock as storm clouds gathered like angry gods above the savannah. Thunder cracked the sky, and rain lashed the earth in sudden fury. One among them traced a finger through the dust, drawing a jagged line that mirrored the lightning's path, whispering words no tongue has preserved. Was this mere habit, or something deeper? A quiet conviction that unseen forces could be coaxed, appeased, or turned aside? The question lingers across millennia. Did ancient humans believe in superstitions? Not the casual modern quirks of knocking on wood or avoiding ladders, but something primal, woven into the fabric of survival itself. Evidence buried in bone and pigment suggests they did, and in ways that shaped not only their days, but the very trajectory of our species. What if those first flickers of belief were less about ignorance and more about the mind's desperate reach for order in a world that offered none? From the shadowed depths of prehistory, archaeology has begun to illuminate those earliest stirrings. Long before recorded history, before the pyramids or the ziggurats, hominins like the Neanderthals were already engaging in acts that hint at a world alive with unseen presences. At Shanidar Cave in the Zagros Mountains of Iraq, excavators uncovered the remains of a Neanderthal male, laid to rest some 60,000 years ago, with clusters of pollen from wildflowers, yarrow, cornflower, and hollyhock scattered around his body. The blooms were not native to the cave floor. Someone had deliberately gathered and placed them there, perhaps as an offering or a farewell. Nearby, other burials showed traces of red ochre smeared on bones, a pigment whose vibrant hue might have symbolized blood, life force, or protection against whatever lurked beyond death. These were not random disposals of corpses, but intentional rituals, the kind that speak of a belief that the dead lingered in some form, demanding respect or fearing their return as restless spirits. Such practices extended to our own lineage. In the Upper Paleolithic, around 34,000 years ago, at Sungir in what is now Russia, hunter-gatherers interred two boys, one disabled, the other bearing signs of hardship, side by side in a grave laden with 10,000 mammoth ivory beads, fox-tooth pendants, and spears carved from ivory. The sheer labor invested in these adornments for children who might not have survived to adulthood suggests a worldview where status, ancestry, or supernatural favor transcended mere utility. Cave walls across Europe and Africa bear witness too. At Lascaux and Chauvet, hand stencils overlap with leaping bison and abstract signs, images created in torchlight by artists who may have invoked spirits through trance or chant. These were not idle doodles, but perhaps sympathetic magic, attempts to ensure a successful hunt or ward off predators by capturing their essence on stone. Science offers a compelling framework for why such beliefs took root. Evolutionary psychology points to the hyperactive agency detection device, a mental shortcut forged in the crucible of the Pleistocene. In an environment where rustling grass might signal a lion or nothing at all, the brain that erred on the side of assuming intent, some hidden force or watchful eye, survived more often than the skeptic who waited for proof. False positives cost little. False negatives could be fatal. Layered atop this was the human drive for pattern recognition, an adaptation that allowed ancestors to predict seasons, track prey, and navigate alliances. Yet in the face of drought, injury, or sudden death, those same mechanisms spun causal threads where none existed. A dream before a hunt succeeds becomes a prophecy. A cracked bone after ignoring a certain bird's call becomes a warning ignored. Behavioral studies of modern hunter-gatherers echo this, showing how uncertainty breeds ritual, simple acts that restore a fragile sense of control. Superstition, then, was no cultural accident, but an emergent property of minds wired for survival amid chaos. It bridged the known and the unknowable, turning the indifferent cosmos into a realm of negotiable powers. Yet the true astonishment lies deeper, in the way these ancient convictions quietly engineered the foundations of human culture itself. Consider Göbekli Tepe in southeastern Turkey, a complex of massive T-shaped pillars carved with foxes, scorpions, and vultures, erected some 11,000 years ago by people who had not yet invented agriculture or pottery. The site's scale, labor that would have required hundreds working in coordinated effort, suggests gatherings not for mere survival, but for communal rites, perhaps to honor ancestors or appease the forces that governed game and weather. Here, superstition may have been the spark that pulled strangers together, forging the social bonds that later enabled settled life. Or ponder the Venus figurines scattered from Siberia to France. Small, voluptuous carvings of women with exaggerated hips and breasts, often found in hearths or burials. Were they fertility charms? Talismans to summon safe childbirth in a world where infant mortality hovered near 50%? Their stylized anonymity implies a shared symbolic language, a collective superstition that transcended tribe and time. Even more haunting are the omens etched into clay tablets from ancient Mesopotamia, where scribes recorded celestial events and animal behaviors as harbingers of kings' fates or city destructions. A malformed liver in a sacrificed sheep could foretell disaster. The flight of birds became a divine script. The evil eye, that malevolent gaze believed to wither crops or strike down children, appears in Sumerian incantations as early as the 3rd millennium BCE, countered by amulets of lapis lazuli or blue beads, protective rituals whose echoes persist in Mediterranean cultures today. These were not fringe practices, but central to governance and daily existence. A farmer might delay planting until the stars aligned favorably. A warrior might refuse battle on an inauspicious day. Such beliefs imposed order on randomness, yet they also bred innovation. The meticulous observation of patterns that would one day flower into astronomy and medicine. In the shadows of ignorance, superstition became a proto-science, a way to map the invisible. What renders these convictions truly mind-altering is their universality and endurance. Across continents and epochs, the same impulses surfaced. Animism in Australian Aboriginal Dreamtime stories, where every rock and river pulsed with ancestral spirit. Ritual cannibalism hints in some European sites, suggesting beliefs that consuming the dead transferred power or ensured reincarnation. Neanderthals and Homo sapiens, separated by tens of thousands of years of evolution, both practiced burial with grave goods, implying a shared cognitive architecture that whispered of souls and afterlives long before language could name them. This was not primitive delusion, but a profound adaptation. By attributing agency to the world, early humans transformed fear into narrative, isolation into community. They danced around fires not merely for warmth, but to bind the group against the dark, their chants weaving invisible threads of meaning. In that light, superstition reveals itself as the first great technology of the mind, the software that allowed fragile bipeds to confront an uncaring universe and declare through ritual and symbol that they mattered. Those ancient threads do not unravel with time. They knot themselves into the present in ways both subtle and startling. Walk any modern city and one encounters echoes. The executive who touches a lucky coin before a deal. The athlete who laces shoes in a precise order. The parent who avoids naming a child's illness aloud for fear of inviting worse. Health beliefs still carry superstitious undertones, certain foods deemed cursed in folklore, or the lingering notion that stress invites misfortune as punishment from unseen forces. In cultures from Turkey to Brazil, the evil eye persists, countered by nazar beads or hand gestures identical to those sketched on Mesopotamian amulets. Even in laboratories, where data reigns, researchers admit to personal rituals. A favorite pen for writing grants, a quiet knock on the desk before experiments. Evolutionary psychologists note that these habits thrive under stress, during pandemics, elections, or economic uncertainty, precisely because they restore agency where facts feel insufficient. Superstition, it seems, is not a relic, but a cognitive fossil, activated when the rational mind reaches its limits. Yet the connection runs deeper than quaint survivals. Modern institutions quietly inherit ancient patterns. Corporate team-building rituals mirror tribal rites. Political campaigns invoke destiny and omens through polling and symbolism. Even scientific funding sometimes hinges on narrative appeal rather than pure probability. In digital spaces, algorithms feed confirmation bias, creating echo chambers where modern superstitions, conspiracy theories, viral luck charms flourish like cave paintings on screens. The same hyperactive agency detection that once spotted lions in the grass now populates social media with hidden agendas and fateful coincidences. Far from eroding belief, technology amplifies it. Uncertainty in a hyper-connected world only heightens the craving for patterns. And in medicine, where ancient herbal lore meets evidence-based practice, patients still whisper prayers or wear charms alongside prescriptions, blending the old and new in quiet defiance of pure materialism. These links remind us that the line between superstition and culture is thinner than we admit. Every tradition, every holiday, carries a whisper of the ancestral fire. In the end, the story of ancient superstitions is less about credulity than about the quiet courage of becoming human. Faced with a cosmos that offered no explanations, our forebears chose to invent them, layering meaning atop the indifferent grind of existence. They left us not just bones and pigments, but a legacy of wonder, the understanding that belief, however flawed, binds us across the abyss of time. Today, as we peer into quantum realms or distant galaxies, that same impulse persists, the need to feel the universe is speaking, if only we listen closely enough. Perhaps the thunder still rolls with intent, and the hand stencils on cave walls still reach toward us, urging continuity. In that shared vulnerability lies a gentle melancholy, a recognition that we remain, at heart, the same creatures who once traced lightning in the dust and hoped the unseen would answer. The superstitions of yesterday did not vanish. They simply changed their masks, reminding us that the search for meaning is the most enduring ritual of all.